Welcome everyone. My name is Aslam. So I want to do a short presentation of how to do a presentation for somebody who doesn't speak it in their native tongue. So for non-English speakers, or if you're presenting in German and German isn't your language, so main mother tongue, so it's difficult to do. So there are ways of tackling with it. Some of the tools that I will give might be relevant and you can use it. Some of the tools might be not relevant to you. So bear that in mind. These tools have worked wonders for me because I've been teaching since 20 years. My first interview, they asked me what my weakness was, and I said English is my weakness, and I said I can't make any jokes, and sometimes I have to think. I still have to think to say some words in English, or to find the best way of presenting in English. So now, having said that, they all laughed and they gave me the job. So that was my first time that I had a lecture job in the UK. So, but once before that, when I came to this country, I had a scholarship. So that scholarship meant I had to teach as well, all the tutorials, I had to do 120 hours, I believe. And I was so scared, very scared, because I never thought before, and it wasn't in a language that I was well versed in. Okay, so my first tongue was Turkish, then the second tongue was German. I used to live in Germany and I used to study in Germany as well, but English was, I learned it later in life, and I would call it my weakness. And it's funny recognizing that and looking back. So now, what worked? Let's come to the main part of this presentation. What worked? What didn't work? Now, I think you have to be okay with being your foreign language until we have the AI translating at the same time, which it does soon. We will have that problem in a way still. But I think it's a lovely challenge to have. It's a great personal development tool as well. I love it because that challenge means you need to find creative ways of how to tackle it, and you know yourself really good. And it's really important that we pause and think about it, what has brought to our lives. Now, let me give you some examples what I did in the beginning and how I changed it throughout the years and what worked well. And I've been here since 20 odd years, but I still have my accent, so it's much better than before, for sure. But I still have sometimes those jitters and those words that are missing in my vocabulary, or sometimes the anxiety creeps in and I'm just freezing up. But I have tools to manage that. Okay, so and now let's go through those tools. Now, when I first began, my English was really troublesome. Troublesome in the sense that I couldn't be flexible with that language. I couldn't find the words, I couldn't find the ways to, on the spot, to change the topics if I wanted to. So I was really limited to where I could jiggle to in terms of the presentation, so in terms of the concepts. So what worked well in the first presentations is repeating the concepts and frameworks and preparing myself for the potential questions that are coming in. So I would say to the students, hi, my name is XYZ, so I'm here to do XYZ, and as you have noticed, English isn't my mother tongue. I'm doing this first time. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer you. But it might take a bit of time. Yeah. And I laughed. And they laughed as well. And so some people won't say that. It's okay as well. I have seen very successful presenters who were presenting in a foreign language as English as a foreign language. They were just awful in their, for example, pronunciation in their but they were really clearly putting every word into function. Okay? And it worked as well. It was really good. So you have to find a way where you are happy the way that you're presenting. For example, in my case, I was happy when I let them know that I had few maybe down the line issues, but I'm happy to address them. So that worked when I was in the initial phases of my teaching career. But as you move on, those won't work because you're expected to deliver and perform at a high level. So it depends which level you are as well. So once I was higher up, once I had the lecture job, I couldn't say those things. So because the audience were expecting materials presented in a really good way, presented clearly and concisely, yeah. You still see there are words that I'm struggling with after 20 years. So what I accepted, like today, by then as well, that my presentation won't be perfect. There will be always some sort of gaps that are funny, that are awkward. So I decided early in my career to accept them, hoping that it will get better, which it did, but to accept it in an earlier stage rather than disregarding them. So once I accepted that I will have an accent, I will present maybe some words really in a funny way. So, but I will make sure that I do the best that I can do. So once your presentation is ready, acknowledge that this is your foreign language. Hence, you need to be really strong on your content delivery. So as you see, it might work if you maybe talk in a much more slower pace to take the audience with you. If you have challenges in describing, in presenting, yeah. So that would work. It doesn't mean that you're not good. It means you're much more trying to be concise and clear in your presentation. I have seen that working really great with many presentations. So, or you can begin with, I will present XYZ. This is, I presented in different languages. English is not my forte, but I will do my best. If you have any questions in the end, please do ask. So what you can do is don't overload your presentation slides, because once it's overloaded, people will look at it rather than to listen to you. But you want to create a sort of engagement, even though you're feeling maybe less capable because you don't have the capability now in terms of how you can flex in that language. So putting everything down on a slide would make your presentation less valuable. I don't know whether it makes sense, but sometimes I see that many times happening because it's not your main language or second language even. So they would put a lot of material onto each slide, overload them. So don't overload the slides. Precise, simple, yet you're able to pronounce as well. Okay? So once you do that, if you're stuck or If you're frozen, it can happen as well. What I would suggest is, say, let me take a moment to explain you in a different way. Okay, do you see, I took a pause, but that pause made sure that you have an understanding that I was thinking of how I could deliver it in a different way. Okay? So once you deliver that, so in the end, what you can say, are there any issues that you want to revisit? Or are there any slides that you want more information of? Yeah. Or are there any questions, as we all do say in the end? But you can see the level of engagement in the end. If there's less engagement, what you can say is, you can still thank everybody for attending, so you would take gladly some additional questions at the end in the break, so and you would be grateful to have their point of views as well, to improve the work or to do XYZ, to discuss the implications in a different context. And that will give you also the engagement. What you're trying to do is, presentation is a tool to create an engagement for a service, for a product, for an idea development, for an innovation, whatever it is a tool. Presentation is a tool. It's not you. It's not your character. It's not your capability. It's just a tool to share what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're delivering, what you're producing, or a combination of all about. So do not forget that. It's not, you can do an exceptional job with a presentation, but if it's not supported with the value of a product, of a service, that is good. It doesn't add anything. So, for example, somebody can give a great presentation of potential service, but it hasn't worked anywhere. Then that's problematic. So, do not forget, it's about service, product, value that you're creating in that presentation that is bounded to a physical, non-physical product or service, or a combination of both. So, for example, in teaching, we are looking into frameworks that has been tested, that has been researched well, that has been, for example, used, applied in organizations and how it works. For example, a certain analysis, whenever the students know it, they can use it. For example, in procurement, we have Kraulich portfolio. It's been well used over the years, since 80s, still in use and very valuable. So there is value to whatever you present. So make sure that you come across presenting that value. The language that you use might be amplifying it, but it doesn't reduces what is in there. Okay? So it's not about you always. It's not about you doing an excellent job. Hopefully you will do. But it's about also being concise, being clear, and providing content that is palatable for the others to understand and explore further, or engage even. That would be your end output, creating some sort of engagement. You want, for example, once I do my lecture, I want the students to remember some of it when they go to work. I want them to engage, to understand, to explore, to think. Say, I make them think, and I love that. And you have to find what makes you love that content. And once it's not about that presentation, it's the value that you're creating. So what is it? What makes you? Why are you here? Why are you presenting that? So think about those things, because if you think about you presenting in a foreign language every time, you will be stuck. But if you think about, I'm creating value with what I'm giving out to this world in a clear, concise way, the best way that I can do, you will do a great job. And I wish you all the success. And let me know if you want any further presentation on presentation skills for non-English speakers. So I've been through many things. So plenty of stories to tell. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.